Welcome to the live weekly warm-up, where I go over a warm-up exercise and challenge you to implement it for your week of practicing and warming up and see what kind of impact it has on your clarinet playing. So I hope you've been enjoying the chromatic scale stuff that we've gone over the last 2 weeks, and I hope that you've been implementing that and seen an improvement in your finger coordination, and you have a better understanding of all of the notes throughout the whole range of the instrument by doing those chromatic scales with all of the sharps and flats and really getting in there and learning those. Today, now, I want to go over a long tone exercise. So remember, long tones are all about focusing on the sound and getting a really smooth, great connection between all of the notes that you're playing. And this week's long tone warm-up exercise that we're going to be over will be really helpful for getting a smooth transition from the chalumeau to the clarion register of the clarinet. So that's from like your low notes up into the notes that use the register key in the clarion register. I call these long tones that we're going to go over today the over-the-break long tones, or sometimes I also call them the 12th long tones, because you end up going the interval of a 12th when you go from the low note to the higher note. So what this exercise is you're going to pick a low chalumeau note to play, and I'm going to do it based on notes in the F major scale for the demonstration, but you're welcome to really pick any note, and you can apply this exercise to any note or pattern of notes. And if you want to do it with a chromatic scale variation, because you're such an expert at your chromatic scale now, feel free to do that, and that would also be really beneficial. But for me, I'm just going to do it based on the F major scale. And what I'm going to do is take a note. I'm going to start on A, and this is the low A, so 2 ledger lines below the staff. And I'm going to play that as a long tone, because this is a long tone exercise. And then I'm going to just press the register key and move into the next register. So from chalumeau A to clarion E, which is the top space of the staff. So nothing has to change except for pressing this register key. And that's the whole point of this exercise, is to be able to move smoothly over the break or into the next register up a 12th without having to change anything or worry about anything going wrong. So I'm going to demonstrate it, and then I'll talk a little bit more about what it is. I'm sort of starting around the middle of the scale, and I'm going to go A to E, and then up to B flat to F, and then down to G to D, up C to D, or C to G, sorry, and sort of expand on both sides. So I start in a nice neutral sort of middle area and then go higher and lower and higher and lower and so on. You'll hear what I mean when I demonstrate it. So a couple things to notice from that. First of all, I stopped on the low E to B, because I'm pretty much out of notes from there. You can't go any lower than that. So that's where I stop this exercise when I'm doing this version of it. Also from F to C, I repeated that a lot of times because I wasn't quite happy with how it came out. Remember, on all of your warm-up stuff, it's much more about getting really great quality rather than getting some number of repetitions or just getting through it. You can go through these exercises and do them haphazardly and get 0 results from it. But if you're really taking the time to make sure every note is coming out exactly how you want it, then you'll be improving a lot faster and really building into your muscle memory what great clarinet playing is like. So that's really important to do. Also, another thing that's helpful with this is to think about playing the low note really nice and full and with a great tone and really good clear air support and air focus, so that when you go up to the higher register, it comes out clearly and cleanly. If the high register isn't coming out in general, it probably means that you're doing something wrong with your air or embouchure on the low note, and that one's not coming out. The purpose of this exercise is to see how easy it is to go from the chalumeau register to the clarion register. Everybody freaks out about going over the break, and I really hate the term going over the break because it's really not a break. We don't want there to be a break. It should be easy and effortless, and that's what the purpose of this exercise is to make that easy and effortless and show that. So if you are having trouble and getting maybe like or and the high notes don't feel good and aren't coming out easily, then that means you're doing something wrong on the low notes, and you want to double check that your embouchure is staying steady and that your air support's staying strong and focused. If, on the other hand, you find that you do get the high notes out, but you're changing a lot, maybe going like, and you have to like really make a lot of embouchure adjustments or change the way you're playing to get the high note to come out, then that means that you're not doing it right on the low notes as well. So we want to play in such a way that going from the low notes to the high notes is literally just the press of a button with pressing the register key down. So if anything's going wrong, double check your fundamentals, make sure your embouchure is staying steady and that your air support is strong and steady, and then just keep practicing and trying so that you can get that as smooth and effortless as possible. One other little advanced bonus thing is, if you are able to get it going really well, you can then try to match sort of the dynamics. So the way our ears work, the higher frequencies we hear louder naturally, they just project more. So in order to balance that and make everything sound super, super smooth and consistent like we want on any long tone exercise, then you can actually think about playing those higher notes a little bit softer. So you really give a full, great bottom note and then just a very relaxed, easy upper note, so that you end up getting a very steady, consistent, dynamic sound across the board. So that's it for this week's live weekly warm-up. This is the over the break or 12th long tones. I hope this helps you to make it easier for you to connect across the break and see how simple it really is, just pressing a button to go into that next register. And if you're having to do more work or it's not working with just pressing the button, then make sure that you're double checking your fundamentals and getting those things down. And you can go to quickstartclarinet.com/join to become a part of the official Quick Start Clarinet community, where I'll give you lots of tips and tricks on how to focus on this air and embouchure stuff and get it functioning really properly, so exercises like this become really easy. So put this into your warm-up exercise routine for this week. See if it helps you smooth out those upper notes and get those upper notes sounding really beautiful, really easy and effortless. And I hope that this has been helpful. Remember, even if you aren't watching this live, you're welcome to leave any questions that you have about this in the comments, and I will be sure to read them and answer them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week on the live weekly warm-up.